Good morning, Year 7. Today we are learning about transversal lines and parallel lines. A transversal is a line intersecting two or more other lines that are usually parallel. And it says in brackets there, not always. But the questions that we're going to be looking at are pretty much always going to be parallel. So here I have some parallel lines, which I'm going to put little arrows on them so that I know that they are parallel. And when I get my ruler and I draw another line going through those parallel lines, that line that I've drawn there is called the transversal. Now, when that line, the transversal, cuts the parallel lines, we have lots of different angles that are made all around that shape. So we want to be able to name some of the types of angles because we know that some of them will be equal and some of them have some other properties, and we want to be able to work them out. So there are three types of angles that we're going to learn about. The first one is called corresponding angles. These angles are always equal. Now, to find these on your parallel lines with your transversal, they're going to make what we call an F shape. Okay, now, for example, if I were to draw an angle in here and in here, the F shape is found by tracing around the arms and the vertex of those angles. So if I trace around the first angle and I trace around the second angle, you can see the F shape that is in there. Okay, now those angles that I've drawn the little red arcs there, they will be equal. However, the F shape doesn't always have to be the right way around. Sometimes the F shape is upside down. Sometimes it's upside down and back to front, or just back to front. There's actually 4 different F shapes that you can make around that transversal there. So in the second diagram, I'm going to do a different F shape. I might do it upside down and back to front like this. And in those little arms, that would mean that that angle and that angle would be equal because they're corresponding. Okay, let's move on to the second type of angle. These ones are called alternate angles, and they are also always equal. These ones make what we call a Z shape. That's how you find them. So if I were to make a Z across my transversal there like that, see the Z shape? The angles inside those arms, that angle there and that angle there, they are alternate and they would be equal. But just like with the corresponding angles, the Z shape can be backwards. So I could go this way, and that would mean that this angle and this angle would be alternate and they would be equal. There is only 2 ways that you can make the Z shape. The co-interior angles, this is my third and final type that we're going to learn about. The co-interior angles are equal to 180 degrees. Okay, they're not equal like the other ones are. This one's a little bit trickier to work out. These ones form a C shape. Okay, so if I draw in a C in this first set of parallel lines here, it's a bit of a square C, but you get the idea that that is a C shape. The 2 angles on the inside of that one and that one, I'm giving them different symbols because they're not equal, but those 2 angles would add to give 180. The C shape can also be backwards, like this, which means that that angle and that angle would add to give 180. Okay. You can use the information above to find the value of angles without using a protractor. In fact, you shouldn't use a protractor for these questions because the diagrams are not usually drawn to scale. So, find the value of A in the following diagrams and give reasons for your answer. So what we have to do of the 3 reasons that we just learned, we need to work out which one to use for the question. So what I'm going to do in question A here, I'm going to trace around the 115, and I trace around the A, and you can see the Z shape. Now this shape was called alternate angles, and we know that these are equal. So all we have to do is write down that A is equal to 115, and then write our reason in the brackets. So this was called alternate angles, so we shorten that to alt, A-L-T, alternate angles are equal. In the second one, let's trace around the arms. Trace around the A, trace around the 55. And you might want to just join it up there, make those arms a bit longer. And you can see that's kind of a sideways F shape. These ones are going to be equal, and they're called corresponding. So we're going to say A equals 55 degrees. And in brackets we write corresponding, so we shorten that to corresponding angles are equal. We can't shorten corresponding any further than that, because then it starts to look too close to what co-interior is. Both of those reasons look very similar at the beginning of the word. They both start with co. All right, the third question. Tracing around the A and around the 110 degrees, we're making a sideways C shape. So this one takes a little bit more working out. We need to add those 2 angles together, so A plus 110, and that's going to equal 180 degrees. The reason is because co-interior, which we shorten to co-int, co-interior angles equal 180. I still have to solve this equation, so I need to minus the 110 from both sides, and that will give me A is equal to 180 minus 110, which is 70 degrees. Okay, time for you to practice. We're going to go to your workbook and do page 22 to page 36.